I swear. By Sarah1281. Chapter 3. Sasuke. Sasuke, of course, was after revenge. Naruto had eventually helped him see that it really wasn't fair to take out his pain and desire for vengeance on everyone who happened to live in Konoha, and that what's more, it would probably make the Uchiha massacre completely pointless. That didn't mean he didn't still hold 3 people responsible. Koharu, Homura, and Danzo needed to die. The third had also been involved, of course, and had been the one to give the order in the end, but as he had been the most reluctant, and it ended up protecting Sasuke throughout the years, Sasuke decided he could let that go. The facts that the third was one of the strongest shinobi in the village, and he was but a child, and that the mysterious death of a Hokage would merit intense investigation had little bearing on his decision. As much as Sasuke wanted to see his parents and various other family members again, he had long since come to realize that as long as the factions following the teachings of the Senju were in control, his clan would always be at odds with the government. With Madara having driven the Kyuubi to attack Konoha, which he certainly couldn't affect, being less than 3 months old at the time, things only got worse. If Itachi couldn't stop the attempted coup, then he really couldn't, and it wasn't worth the chance to see his clan again, to have to watch Itachi destroy them and abandon him again. So, Sasuke had elected to come back at 11. His life after the massacre was really nothing worth repeating, but he wanted to go back a little before he graduated so he could have some time to refamiliarize himself with his past and change anything he didn't like, not to mention brushing up on his taijutsu and working to get his body accustomed to his more interesting jutsu. As Sasuke put the finishing touches on Danzo's suicide letter, he had realized that Homura and Koharu were too set in their ways and could not lead Konoha into the future, but did not wish to be tried and executed for treason, so he was going to die with them. And he activated his Sharingan. He reflected that it really shouldn't have been that easy to poison the council and future Rokudame. Ah well, he was doing Konoha a favor, really, not only by taking out some dangerously old-fashioned and extremely influential leaders, but by letting the village know that its security failed, and hopefully inspiring them to correct that. On his way back to his apartment, he bumped into the most annoying person he hadn't succeeded in killing. "Hey, Sasuke!" Naruto greeted him cheerfully. "What are you doing out this late at night?" "What are you doing?" Sasuke replied. "Midnight ramen run," Naruto explained. "I always forget to go during the day." "I see," Sasuke said. If it were anyone else, that probably would have come across as completely ridiculous and obviously untrue. But since it was Naruto, that really was one of the most likely explanations. "I'm headed home." Naruto shot him a quizzical look. "You're heading the wrong way for that, aren't you? Unless you want to take the really scenic route." "Don't be ridiculous, my apartment is this way," Sasuke disagreed. And really, how much would Naruto know anyway? And why was he being so friendly? Then again, perhaps it was just that he was actually answering the blonde boy. When he had really been 11, he would have just grunted, possibly said something belittling, and left. "Not unless Obito kicked you out," Naruto replied. "And I probably would have heard about that." "Who's Obito?" Sasuke asked automatically. Naruto's eyes widened. "Who's Obito? Sasuke, why do you hate Orochimaru?" "Who said I hate Orochimaru?" Sasuke asked neutrally. "For that matter, who said I've even met him?" A smile spread across Naruto's face. "Sasuke, you're back!" "Back?" Sasuke replied, feeling a little out of his depth. "Yeah, you finally decided to show up! Kakashi came back 13 years ago and I came back 3, Naruto explained. "Sakura still hasn't shown up yet, but Kakashi and I are betting that will happen next year when we make a Nin." "I see," Sasuke said. "So we're in the same timeline then?" "Yeah, Kakashi and I were pretty surprised too. Fortunately, after a few weeks, my alternate timeline memories started coming in because when I first got back, I was confused. With Kakashi having already been around for a decade, he started changing things left and right. For instance, did you know that when that Kumo ambassador tried to kidnap Hinata, Kakashi was on hand to incapacitate him without killing him? So Neji's father wouldn't have to die?" Naruto asked. "Why?" Sasuke wondered. Naruto shrugged. "Because he knew it was coming, I guess. Also, I get the feeling he kind of got tired listening to Guy complain about how fatalistic Neji was all the time before I used my therapy jutsu on him, and as most of his change followed Hinata's dad explaining what really happened that day, he figured that incident was the root cause of Neji's complex." So he did it because Neji's pain was annoying him? Sasuke summarized. Basically, Naruto agreed. But hey, that's why I ended up coming back. Not because of Neji, but because your sulking was really annoying and I didn't realize that you'd be following me here. I did not sulk, Sasuke told him. Naruto snorted. Keep telling yourself that, Sasuke. And there's no such thing as there would be jutsu, Sasuke reminded him. Actually, I think you'll find that there is, Naruto corrected. Apparently, Obito is good at that too, and Kakashi passed along my name for it. So over the last 13 years, it's become quite well known. Granted, I'm not the originator anymore, but since it's official, I feel vindicated anyway. You would. So besides that, what's changed? Who's Obito? Why am I supposed to hate Orochimaru? And what did you do? Sasuke fired off. Obito was your cousin, Naruto began. Sasuke blinked. I have relatives? But the massacre, Obito originally died 2 years or so before we were born. He was on Kakashi's team, and as such, he was on my father's team, Naruto continued. When he died, he gave his Sharingan to Kakashi. Kakashi kind of obsessed, as you probably noticed, and came back to save him. Since he was on my father's team, your family realized he had quite a bit of loyalty to Konoha and didn't tell him about the coup, and Kakashi was supposed to keep him out of the compound that night. I have relatives, Sasuke repeated, trying to grasp this basic fact. Or a relative. Whatever. As for Orochimaru, well, I told you that I didn't want to deal with you sulking, right? Naruto asked. I came back to the day of the massacre so I could be there for you afterwards or whatever, so you'd hopefully grow up less emo. I ran into Kakashi and he filled me in on what had been going on. Since Obito would probably end up taking you in, as you were kind of lacking in family, which he did, I decided I didn't want my trip to be worthless, and so we ended up blaming everything on Orochimaru. Blaming what on Orochimaru? Sasuke asked, confused. Naruto's grin widened. The massacre! You... Sasuke trailed off. You blamed the Uchiha massacre on Orochimaru? Oh, why? And what happened to Itachi then? I used my Oryoke no Jutsu to turn myself into girl Orochimaru, Naruto began. Seeing Sasuke cringe, he continued. I know, gross, right? Had to be done though. Trying to explain why I was framing Orochimaru might have led to some awkward questions, and the Sharingan can see through illusions, so I had no other choice. As for the why, well, if it hadn't been for his stupid curse seal, then you wouldn't have been so much moodier and crazier than normal, and if it hadn't been for him killing the third, then your brother wouldn't have come back to protect you and wound up making you catatonic. Not to mention that he was the one who offered you a place outside of Konoha to begin with. The way I see it, if it hadn't been for him, you wouldn't have left. It was still my choice, Sasuke felt obligated to point out. Naruto rolled his eyes. You're my best friend, and he was a crazy pedophile. Besides, was I supposed to blame you for what happened? I suppose not, Sasuke conceded. It's hard to believe as a 13-year-old prodigy wiping out the clan might have been. An 8-year-old above-average academy student would have been far more ridiculous. Not to mention that Itachi would have found a way to take responsibility. And speaking of him, what happened? If people think Orochimaru is responsible, what happened to him? After he killed the clan, I had Kakashi round up a large crowd of witnesses. Mostly women. I get the feeling he did something perverted, but he still won't tell me what. And they chased him to the Uchiha district where I claimed I had killed them all, attacked your brother, mentioned how much I wanted a Sharingan, and that I would be back for either your eyes or Itachi's, and left. Naruto summarized. Since everyone thought Orochimaru was responsible, and your brother had heroically managed to fend him off, there was no need for him to leave, so he lives with you, Obito, and Rin. He's still really stoic when you don't happen to be in the room, and doesn't like talking about the Uchiha or the massacre, but it's not nearly as bad as before. Sasuke stared at Naruto. Don't take this the wrong way, but I think I love you. Naruto laughed. I won't, don't worry, but keep in mind, he couldn't understand why I was so determined to bring you back after you were being such a moron, so he eventually decided I was in love with you. Sasuke twitched. I never liked Kiba. When you two got together, you were 5 times as bad. I'm sorry to hear that, Naruto said, not looking sorry at all. Especially as you're going to be seeing a lot more of him as your brother's dating his sister. What was that? Sasuke asked. Sure, he'd misheard the other boy. Your brother is dating Kiba's sister, Anna. Naruto said again. Why? Sasuke demanded. Naruto shrugged. Who knows how love works? Obito married his other teammate Rin, and Kakashi is dating Anko. Anko? Sasuke narrowed his eyes, trying to remember her. Wait, wasn't she that insane proctor for the second stage of the tuning exams? Yep, Naruto beamed. He didn't want to propose until either you or Sakura got here, and he'll actually get married once the team is back together. Uncle kind of scares me, which is pretty awesome. She can make a weapon out of anything. You two get along quite well. What could we possibly have in common? Sasuke honestly couldn't think of anything. And why do we even know each other? Well, she's your guardian's best friend's girlfriend, and they double date a lot. Anko was also Orochimaru's apprentice that he gave a cursed seal to and abandoned. You two often have long, in-depth conversations about how much you hate him and plot out various revenge scenarios, Naruto offered. And trust me when I say that those greatly disturb everyone else. Sasuke considered that. Well, it's true that I haven't forgiven Orochimaru for not only presuming to take my body, but for interrupting my fight with Itachi, and driving him to death by exhaustion that much faster. So I suppose I can work with that. Naruto groaned. Of course you can! Seriously, isn't it impossible for you to be happy without having someone you need to seek revenge on? I don't know, Sasuke confessed. But why mess with success? Because it's a pain in the butt for the rest of us, Naruto complained. Speaking of, why did you decide to come back? It had something to do with vengeance, right? But of course. Sasuke looked surprised that Naruto even had to ask. Even if I reluctantly admitted that maybe the citizens of Konoha deserved peace after the massacre, the council and Danzo do not. You killed them? Naruto was shocked. They were meeting to discuss Konoha policy. I poisoned their tea, then used the Sharingan to fake a suicide note from Danzo, Sasuke explained. For the love of Kami, Sasuke, do you know how people are going to react to that? You can't just go around killing village elders every time you feel like it! Naruto burst out. I just did, Sasuke pointed out. But no worries, I feel justice has been served by Konoha as far as the massacre goes, so I see no reason to go after any other elders or the Hokage. Madara, however... Good! Naruto said. Because if you went after my dad, then I might need to rethink that no revenge thing. Your dad? Sasuke was surprised. Isn't he dead? Kakashi meddled, and so the third sealed the QB, Naruto explained. Kakashi killed the third? Sasuke couldn't believe it. Naruto smiled. That's what I said too! He claims the Saindame made his own choices. Speaking of people making their own choices, like it or not, your brother made his as well. Are you sure you're going to be okay facing him again? Because remember, you're not supposed to know that he's the one who killed your clan, and neither am I. Only my father, Kakashi, and Jiraiya are supposed to know, since you killed the Unholy Alliance. The what? Sasuke blinked. That's Kakashi and my codename for the council and Danzo, Naruto explained. Since they always disagree with Dad and always side with each other. I think I'll be okay, Sasuke decided. Right or wrong, I forgave Itachi after I found out that Konoha had ordered him to do it. So as long as I don't slip up and mention that I know it was him, I should be good. I don't see why we'd talk about the massacre, even if I did know, because I still don't feel like they deserved to die, so it would just end up being very awkward. That's probably for the best, Naruto agreed. Madara's really good at framing his explanations, so you'll immediately change long-held beliefs over the course of our conversation, huh? It's kind of like my therapy jutsu, but the opposite. Giving people issues jutsu? That's not nearly as sketchy. Yeah, Madara was pretty good at that. Sasuke nodded. Crazy, though. Seriously, the moon? I know! Naruto said. It's kind of a wonder someone that insane managed to keep it together long enough to convince so many other people to follow him. Well, most of those people were also insane, Sasuke pointed out. True, Naruto conceded. So, do you have any more questions for me, or do you want to head back? What's our relationship supposed to be like? Sasuke inquired. Honestly curious. He was sure that Naruto had tried to make friends with his younger self, but he was equally certain that little him wouldn't be very receptive. The same as it always was, I guess. Naruto decided. In this timeline, I always knew Kakashi as he was my father's student and nostalgic, and after I got back, I tagged along when he hung out with Obito, and so eventually you were forced to admit we were friends. We probably will never act like normal friends, but neither do Ino and Sakura, and they managed to be functional. That would depend on your definition of functional, Sasuke said dryly. So, are you planning on doing anything about the fact that I killed them? Naruto sighed. I do not approve, obviously, especially as this was murder, no other way of looking at it. We'll have to tell Kakashi, obviously, but other than that, well, I suppose I'm just glad you stuck to the agreement we made about not trying to destroy Konoha anymore. Thank you, Sasuke said sincerely. Then a thought struck him. Hey, since I won't be getting new memories for a few more weeks, what's this cousin of mine like, anyway? Well, he's a lot like me, for one, Naruto answered. You know, on the other hand, maybe I should turn myself in. It wouldn't do to let people panic unnecessarily. When the two boys reached the strange house that Naruto swore he lived in, he found Kakashi sitting at the table with his brother and an older Uchiha, who he assumed was Obito. Where have you guys been? Obito asked, not even bothering to wonder why Naruto was with Sasuke. Apparently, they really were friends. I was on a midnight ramen run when I ran into Sasuke training, Naruto lied. I made him come with me, but we got held up when he burned his mouth as more vengeance. I see, Obito said. Apparently, that wasn't a novel occurrence. Oh, Kakashi? Naruto asked. Sasuke finally decided to show up. Did he? Kakashi raised an eyebrow. You certainly took your time, didn't you? Now you have no excuse not to propose, Naruto informed him. I'll get around to it, Kakashi insisted. Honey-san, Sasuke said, unsure of really what else to say. After all, the last time they had been on anything resembling good terms had been the day before the massacre. But he'd been so strained then, probably trying to decide whether or not he could actually bring himself to kill his little brother. Itachi smiled at him. Swearing vengeance again, Sasuke. One of these days, that's going to get you into trouble. Don't I know it, Sasuke muttered. Still, I'm sure I can handle it. And if not, you'll bail me out, right? Always, Itachi promised. So what did he do? Kakashi asked Naruto quietly. Wiped out the unholy alliance, Naruto replied. Kakashi blinked. That's all. I know, I was surprised too, Naruto confided. I can't even say that that's a bad thing, given what we know Danzo's capable of, and how utterly unhelpful the council always was, Kakashi admitted. I wonder who Minato will appoint to replace them. Well, he did say that he was looking for a way to get Bachan to come back for more than her biannual hospital inspections, Naruto pointed out. As for the other one, I don't know. Jiraiya would seem like the obvious choice, but his spy network is kind of personally held together by him, so Narushikaku would be a good pick, Kakashi mused, seeing as how he's probably the smartest person in the village and a tactical genius as well. So it looks like Sasuke's revenge-seeking tendencies actually had a positive outcome this time, Naruto said, sounding almost odd. Yes, but we must never, ever tell him this. Ever. If he's bad as far as that goes now, just imagine how bad it would be if he had encouragement.